Welcome to Storytime. I'm Katie Wayne, and today we're at Connoquenessing Valley Elementary School, reading books about summer. Are you ready for an adventure in reading? Me too. Come on, let's read. Today we're going to read some books about summer. Does anybody love summer? Yes, there's so many great things about summer. Let's read Think Cool Thoughts by Elizabeth Perry. One summer, in the hottest part of the summer, came a day so hot, after a week so hot, after a month so hot, that chocolate bars melted before you could eat them, and the pavement stuck to your shoes. When the nights came, they were even hotter than the days. Think cool thoughts, said Angel's mother. Think of snowstorms and icicles. Think of the frozen wind blowing down from Canada across fields and fields and fields of winter. She brushed the damp hair back from Angel's forehead. Think of the cool, deepest water in the ocean. But the ocean was too big and winter was too far away. In the thickness of the night, Angel lay on top of her sheets and imagined ice cubes, small and close. She was good at counting, so she counted while they melted in her mind, smoothing the sticky wrinkles of the sheet beneath her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She tried to get up to 1,000. 1,000 ice cubes melting might have magic. She wanted to believe in magic, something, anything to end the hotness. When I was your age, said Aunt Lucy. You were 7? I was 7, and your mother was 5, and we had a summer like this one. Aunt Lucy and Angel's mother were sitting in chairs in the kitchen window talking about Aunt Lucy's hard times. It was difficult to imagine them any smaller than their own sizes, but Angel tried. She could think of them with their legs swinging, Aunt Lucy's bare toes just touching the floor, her own mother's feet swishing in the hot air. For just a moment, she felt as if she were looking at an old photograph, and then it faded in her mind. It was the summer after your grandfather died, said Aunt Lucy, and it got so hot that we took our mattresses out on the roof. You slept outdoors? Aunt Lucy nodded. Angel looked over at her mother. We'll have to see, she said slowly. But her mother was smiling the smile that meant yes, for special treats, as long as you didn't fuss about them. So Angel smiled back on the inside and didn't say anything more about it. Later that afternoon, they dragged her mother's old mattress, lump, bump, bump, up all the stairs, and the hottest air got even hotter because it was mixed with the sweat in their faces and the mattress dust and the stair carpet dust that they kicked up with the lumping and bumping along. Angel and her mother pushed and squeezed the mattress, and Aunt Lucy tugged and pulled the mattress up and up and up the last stairway to the roof. Plop, flump at last. They pushed the mattress to the middle. Phew, Angel sat down. Her mother let out a great breath and sat down beside her. We're just a little crazy, you know that, said Aunt Lucy, and she laughed and sat down too. Sitting between them on the mattress, Angel looked up. The sky was a different shape and bigger than the usual blue rectangle between the buildings. The roof sky was round, like the sky in the park, but even closer. Angel hugged her sweaty knees, feeling the sticky mattress dirt dribbling down inside her elbows, while her mother and Aunt Lucy brought up sheets and pillows and chairs for later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 melting ice cubes. That night, after her bath, Angel got to sleep on the roof in her underwear. 8, 9, 10. Slowly, the round sky got dark and purple without letting go of any of the hotness. 11. 12. The wrinkles of the sheet stuck to her, and she stopped counting her ice cubes and pretended to sleep. The grown-ups were talking, but the words were not important. Angel could hear the rhythm of a question and an answer, and a question in the beginning of another long, long story about someone she didn't know. Her mother and Aunt Lucy sat on the kitchen chairs and drank ice water. As she got sleepier and sleepier, they became great shadows against the sky. In Angel's dream that night, all the buildings in the city sat down on kitchen chairs to rest. They leaned together to talk in quiet voices about the stars in the sky and the little streets like threads below them. Angel was happy, and pigeons were dancing with ice cubes on every rooftop. She snuggled up in her sheet to watch. When she tried to roll over, Angel bumped against a giant bony shoulder. She tried to roll the other way and bumped into a great big warm back. The sky was gray lavender, the color of dishwater, and not dark purple anymore. Only one star was left. Angel wiggled over onto her stomach and lifted her head. Straight across the street, the windows were so pink and so gold that she knew in her heart that ice cube magic must have changed the world while everyone slept. She had to believe in it, because every edge, every speck of every brick in that building was rosy and distinct. A little breath of breeze lifted a blue curtain out of a kitchen window and let it drop back in again. It was warm between her mother and Aunt Lucy, but not hot. Not hot. Angel was ready to shout, "I am not hot!" The air moving past her face was cool, so cool. Just brushing its coolness against her cheeks and eyelashes, she whispered, "I am not hot," in the tiniest voice she had. Said the warm back. Sighed the bony shoulder. The breeze gusted. 3 pigeons flew past with their sudden disorganized flapping, and 2 fat raindrops landed, one on Angel's hand and one on her ear. Her mother woke up fast. Aunt Lucy woke up too. "Quick, Lucy," said Angel's mother. "If the mattress gets wet, it'll be forever drying." "Angel, darling, you take the sheet and pillows," said Aunt Lucy, stretching her back as she stood up, "and keep them off the ground." They hustled the mattress inside and lumped it in a hurry down all the stairs. Angel followed, watching the grown-ups bent in all directions, squeezing the mattress back into the apartment. She felt like the Statue of Liberty, holding up her sheet and pillows as she stepped carefully after them. And then they all went back up to the roof to get the kitchen chairs to bring them in out of the wet. "Don't stop me," said Aunt Lucy, and she sat down right on one of those kitchen chairs. "My goodness, oh my goodness," she said, "after all that heat." Said Angel's mother, and she sat down too. And they just let the rain wash out of the sky, right through their hair and into their faces like wet statues in their summer nightgowns. They didn't move. Angel looked up into the big round sky. She opened her mouth wide and caught the rain in little splashing sips. She spread her fingers apart and let the rain get in between them, wiggled her toes and began to twirl and dip and bop like pigeons and the ice cubes in her dream. Her mother and Aunt Lucy began to laugh at Angel dancing in her underwear. The sound was wetter and cooler than the water fountain in the park. They hadn't laughed like that in a whole month Aunt Lucy had been staying with them. Angel kept on dancing and spinning as they laughed around and around and around, and then somehow the dancing and laughter brought music along with it. She began to sing. The tune was a church tune, And the words were partly her own new words, which came from inside her. I love this rain, how sweet the sound. It falls on you and me, and on the roof and on the ground. I'm cool, I'm wet, I'm free. She sang it again, and Aunt Lucy began to sing in the harmony. The rain kept coming down. Her mother was still laughing and singing a little too. And that was the exact moment the hottest part of that very hot summer began to end. And from that cool, dancing, rainy morning on, even when Angel decided she was really too big to believe in magic, anytime it began to get hot at night, she counted ice cubes, just to help things along. 1, 2, 3, the end. Was there anything you liked about that book? Her imagination? In her dream, or the ice cubes, or in her dream? Yeah, those were neat dreams. Pigeons and ice cubes dancing on the roof. That kind of sounds fun. In the back.
I like that story because when it was close to the end, it was cold, and at the beginning, it was hot.
So you liked the contrast of how hot it was, and then how cool it got at the end. Yeah, that was a neat contrast that the author wrote in, isn't it? Yeah. Well, let's stand up. We're going to sing a little song. We're going to sing the song in the book. It goes like this. I love the rain. Can you repeat that? I love the rain. How sweet the sound. How sweet the sound. It falls on you and me. It falls on you and me. Good, let's do that much. Sing it with me. I love the rain, how sweet the sound. It falls on you and me. Good. And on the roof and on the ground. Let's try that. And on the roof and on the ground. I'm cool, I'm wet, I'm free. I'm cool, I'm wet, I'm free. Good, you sound great. Sing out a little louder. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the rain, how sweet the sound. It falls on you and me, and on the roof and on the ground. I'm cool, I'm wet, I'm free. Very good. One last time, really loud. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I love the rain, how sweet the sound. It falls on you and me, and on the roof and on the ground. I'm cool, I'm wet, I'm free. Excellent. Have a seat. Let's read How Hot Was It? By Jane Barclay. It was a muggy, sluggy, hair-teasing, air-squeezing, can't get out of bed, both legs filled with lead kind of hot. Outside my window, I heard the electric buzz of cicadas from high up in the trees. I lay in bed and watched dust flecks floating up a sunbeam. I waited for the whisper of a breeze. In the kitchen, a fan whirred back and forth, stirring up soupy air. My dog nudged my knee with his nose. Bow out, he begged. It's too hot to go out, dog, I said. How hot was it? It was grueling, drooling, tongue dragging, tail sagging, nose pressed to the door, flop down on the floor kind of hot. I sat at the table and peeled myself an orange. In the yard, a shiny black bird flapped its wings and shook dirt through its feathers. Across the fence, our neighbor's laundry hung limp and heavy on the clothesline. I could hear my dad getting ready for work. He came into the kitchen, wiping his face with a handkerchief. "Phew, it's hot out there," he said. How hot was it? It was icky, sticky, nerve-grating, tie-hating, wish I'd fixed the air, grouchy as a bear kind of hot. It was time to go to school. I put on my sandals and my sun hat, and my mom covered me with lotion. I slipped out the door and trudged down the sidewalk, my sandals slapping the cement. I passed hoses that lay coiled in the grass like snakes sleeping in the sun, and sprinklers that hissed and spit out scorched lawns. In the schoolyard, the sun baked the slide and the swings sat empty as we stood wilting in the heat. Inside, we slumped at our desks and the teacher said, "My, it's hot out there." How hot was it? It was sizzling, fizzling, record-breaking, belly-aching, faces red as beets, shorts stuck to our seats kind of hot. In art class, I painted my piñata. In story time, the teacher read a book about the equator. And in math, I shared a popsicle and learned all about fractions. When the bell rang, I braced myself for the walk home. I pulled my sun hat down to my eyes and opened the door. The heat pounced on me and licked at my popsicle. I hurried past the playground, the juice running down my arm. I paused at the sewer grate. Heat rose from the pavement in shimmering waves, and I wondered if a dragon slithered underneath. I dropped my popsicle down the grate. "Hello, down there," I called, and thought I heard a rustle in the musty darkness. When I finally made it home, my mom said, "Goodness, you look hot." How hot was I? It was a roasting, toasting, boiled hamming, toe jamming, fry an egg or two, chilies in a stew kind of hot. After my snack, Mom asked me to bring some chives from the backyard. Sweat trickled down my face as I crouched in the garden. A mosquito whined in my ear as I snipped in my shirt, clinging to my back. Just before supper, I heard my dad's car pull into the driveway. The sun blazed in the sky like a fiery ball, and I thought of the dragon sweltering in its lair. But I was so cool. How cool was I? I was pool-filling, pail-spilling, thirst-quenching, dad-drenching, ice-cold lemonade, hammock in the shade, kind of cool. The end. Well, thank you so much for listening to all the books about a hot summer. Today, we're going to make a hot summer sun with a coffee filter. Let me show you what we'll need. So we're going to need some construction paper, a background color. It could be blue or purple or orange, probably something to contrast your orange and yellow though. And then you need some bright green for the summer grass. You'll need a coffee filter, some scissors for your adult helper, a paintbrush, some food coloring, a little bit of glue, and some water. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is dye the coffee filter. So I have this little styrofoam I use for paint or other craft supplies. So I'm just going to put the coffee filter right in there, just like that. And I'm going to take some water, put it into this container, just like that. Then I'm going to take my paintbrush, and without any color at all, I'm just going to get the coffee filter wet. It's going to stick kind of to the styrofoam, but that's okay. And it might have some little wrinkles and buckles in it. That's okay too. I just want to get as much of the paper wet as I can. It doesn't have to be soaking, just needs to be wet. And I think all of my filter is wet. Just put my paintbrush off to the side. I may or may not use it. So I'm going to start with yellow, and I'm just going to drop it on the coffee filter and watch it bleed all over the coffee filter in a really neat kind of array. I don't need to use a whole bunch. In fact, I'm going to stop with one more drop, or two, and I'm going to let it spread out a little bit. I'm just going to lightly take my paintbrush. I like the streaks that it's got, but I want a little more yellow because I want a hot, hot sun. So I just streak it out a little bit more. Just go back and forth to paint it. Keep some of that orange there. There's no right or wrong color. Sometimes things happen that you didn't plan, and that's okay too. Okay, so I want a bit more orange. Got a lot of yellow streaked in there, so I'll just put a little bit more. Some of the other areas that don't have any yet. Better to stop before I get too much. Okay. Now when you add red to yellow, you get orange. So that's what I'm going to do, but the red's really powerful, so we really don't want very much, unless of course I wanted a red sun, and if that's what you want, go for it. So I'm going to put just a little bit of red for those hot spots on the sun. And in this case, I'm going to add a little bit more water to see if I can get the red to leak around a little bit without me having to spread it out too much. And make a little orange. Just dabbing the water around to add to the red. And then dabbing it out. So I keep some of my yellow, but I also have the red. And I get these funky little splashes. Okay, and I can keep working on it and adding it. I think that's pretty good. So all I'm going to do is just let that dry. I can leave it dry right in the pan, or I could pick it off and put it onto a cookie sheet, cookie drying kind of rack. And then when it's dry, it might change a little bit, but it's just really fun and funky. So the next thing I'm going to do is just sort of put it all together. So I'll get my dies off to the side, get my glue ready, and I'm going to first just sort of lay it out a little bit, get an idea of how much grass I want. So let's say I want this much grass. So I'll fold that. Now I have my fold, so I can have my adult helper cut that, or use some safety scissors if I'm ready for that. Okay, then I don't need that part, so I'll just put it off to the side. I'd like to have a valley in mine, so I'm going to go ahead and just create a curvy valley. You can always draw it ahead of time, that's okay. And then practice cutting on the line, or your adult helper can do exactly what you traced. So those will go together. The last thing I need to do is get my sun's rays. So I'm going to fold it a few times. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I folded it 4 times in half till I have this pizza slice. Then I'm going to put a triangle from that side to this side. Okay. And they don't quite connect yet, so I'll keep going. And there they go. And now when I open it up, it has these great even rays of sunlight. And look at that hot sun. We'll add that in there. So now I'll take my glue stick. You could use regular glue, whatever you like. The glue stick's kind of handy for this one, because it's a nice light material, this coffee filter and the papers. If one of my rays gets bent over, that's okay too. So I'm just going from the inside of the sun to the outside. And I want to get a little in the middle. And it's sticking to my finger, but that's okay too. And I'll put it almost to the bottom. And again, I'm going to work from the inside out, brushing out the rays. If you feel like you need a little extra glue somewhere, you can do that. And then on the edge of my green, I'll put my glue right along my mountainous valley, rolling hills, and then something across the center. And I'll flip it over and do my best to match it up on the bottom. Go across and then up. And since I used glue stick, it's really pretty much ready right now. So I have this great hot summer sun in a valley that I made with a coffee filter and food coloring. So you be creative, but most of all, have fun. Well, that's all the time we have today at Connoquenessing Valley Elementary School. Remember, if you'd like us to come to your school, ask your teacher or principal to contact us. See you next time. Bye-bye.